Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of So Do You Like Stuff? I'm Jeff Miller.
And I'm Josh Martinez.
Good news, Josh.
What?
We have been accepted in multiple podcasting apps or places.
Woo!
Exactly. We were originally just on SoundCloud, but now we are on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, and
Bandcamp?
no, not Bandcamp. Is it Switcher? I forget. It's Stitcher, Switcher, something like that.
Stitch Fix?
Yeah, something
A
like
clothing
that.
line?
Yeah.
We'll have t-shirts.
But no Google Play because they were acting funny. Yeah, they weren't accepting our RSS feed, so I was like, okay, let's not do Google Play.
Yeah.
But
sorry, Android people.
yeah, so but good news, if you're on Android, you can still get it on Spotify and TuneIn. And TuneIn's also part of your Amazon Alexa. So if you have that stuff, not you, turn off. Sorry, I have one down here, and it was going to say something. So, yeah.
I one time asked Alexa, because I have one too.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked it if it was better than, if Google Home was better than Alexa, and it never answered.
Oh, of course. Because they put in that algorithm where if you mention Google anything, or mainly Google Assistant or the Google Home or anything like that, because they got rid of that because people were having Google Home and the Amazon Echo talk to each other back and forth, back and forth, back and forth into an infinite loop.
Yeah, because South Park did that joke. Remember, he had Carmen.
Oh, yeah.
He had a bunch of Google Homes, but he had a bunch of Alexas.
Yeah.
And he just had them all just like talking to each other.
Yeah. Talking to each other and saying, say poo poo.
Yeah. So yeah. By the way, I subscribed to an Instagram channel that does all Simpsons quotes, like just video clips. Mm-hmm. And they actually played the clip from what this podcast is based on.
Yep.
It popped up in the feed, and I was like, oh, there it is.
There it is. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into the show, because we don't have to really explain anything, because you watched the last episode and you were supposed to like it and subscribe to it, and some of you did, and more of you need to do that. So that would be awesome if you like it, comment, all that stuff. So I got the first topic. It is the topic of books. So I am a big Bob's Burger fan, and I would say it's probably in my top 5 TV shows of all time. Number 1 still Futurama.
Animated or both live and animated?
Both live and animated. See, I've always gravitated more towards animated comedies versus real life comedies, even though there's some good ones out there. But for some reason, like, I've watched like the most horrible animated stuff, but still found a little bit of enjoyment. Case in point, Family Guy.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way too. I'm gravitating towards that. I'd say Bob's Burgers. Yeah, I would say it's actually at this point better than The Simpsons.
Yeah,
that whole Fox lineup, it's probably the best out of.
Yeah, especially now. I would say Bob's Burgers is at top. Sadly, Simpsons have gone down to second because they're starting to become more topical as like South Park, which South Park does it better because they don't care who they make fun of. Simpson still has that, oh, we need to be kind to everybody and everybody needs to play fair and everything like that. South Park's just like, we're going to make fun of everybody and we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't give
So
a flying fairy anything
pixel.
about it. So back to the topic at hand. So with Bob's Burgers, the person that voices Bob, Jon Benjamin, he wrote a memoir basically called Failure is an Option, a memoir ish. And I finished it probably 2 weeks ago, but wanted to comment on it. Because if you are a fan of Bob's Burgers or Archer or Jon Benjamin himself, it's pretty funny. It and he reads it himself, and he does his different voices for different things, but he pretty much kind of just, you can tell that he's struggling to write the book because there's a few chapters in there that are just like totally off topic. Like there's 2 chapters where he wrote college professors, or professors, about, you know, famous people that have failed, and they kept on replying back like, here, do some research, kind of a thing. But he didn't want to do the research. He's just like, write a chapter for me. Basically that's what he was getting at. Write a chapter for me. And it just comes off, you can tell that just in nature he's just a very lazy person. Like he doesn't want to do much of anything. That's why he did voice acting. Because from what I've heard, that he doesn't rehearse or anything like that. He just goes into the room, reads his lines, and that's it.
Then I remember hearing an interview of him where he described his difference between Archer and Bob, and he's like, it's just kind of slight. He's like, there's not much of a difference. It's just a little bit like one's more like, it's just, and it, and so I just took that as he's one's more worn out by
life,
real life, and the other is worn out by drugs and alcohol and gummy bears.
He actually, the last chapter of the book, he actually gives a reason why why Archer and Bob sound the same. He forgot to differentiate the voices. That was his excuse. But overall, I mean, if you are a Bob's Burgers fan or an Archer fan, or again an Jon Benjamin fan, he does give stories about his past and how he failed and everything. There was like a portion where he talks about his childhood, and like he didn't have many friends growing up, but he befriended like his neighbors, and he basically became their extra son, like to the point where he would walk into their house without even them there, and they would be okay when they walk in the house, like, oh,
and he's there.
Yeah. And that brought into where robbers like came into the house and robbed him, and he did nothing because that's the point of it. He failed to, stand up or, call the police or anything like that. But yeah, you get to the point. Like the overall arcing synopsis is Jon Benjamin is 3 things. 1, he's a failure, but it's okay to fail. 2, he's extremely lazy. And number 3 is he's a jerk. He can be. Like there's a section of the book or a chapter of the book where he's huge into Chinese restaurants, and his parents kept on talking about, because they lived in, I think, Tucson, Arizona at the time, and they were talking about this Chinese restaurant that they found, and it's like, a diamond in the rough and everything like that. And Jon Benjamin goes and visits them. And the first night, that's where they go, and they pull up in Tucson to this huge place with, a bridge and, huge doors and everything like that, and a sign saying PF Chang's. and and Jon Benjamin is just like, this is PF Chang's, and his parents are like, oh, you've heard of it before? And it's like, yeah, they're all over the place. And his dad, for some reason, is just sticking to his guns. It's like, you're wrong. You're wrong. This is the only one across America. And like, John goes and like goes out of his way to prove his dad wrong. Like literally going up to the stewardess and saying, hey, can you do you have a map of all the locations that you have? And of course they do. And he's like shoving in his dad's face, and it's like, geez. Like it's a strange coincidence where his dad's just so very much like, no, this is the only one ever. There's no other locations. That's a little weird. And then with him just going out of his way to prove his dad that you're wrong. You're wrong about this. It's like,
yeah, especially when P.F. Chang is like in grocery stores.
Yeah.
We should do some point in one of these episodes, we should do a review of his jazz album.
Oh yeah.
That he put out. I listened, I didn't buy it, but I listened to like all the snippets on iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
And he did like a live thing on, I think on the Late Show with Colbert.
Yeah.
And it's so weird and just so random.
He talks about that about his jazz album, because he grew up listening to jazz. Like that was his dad's main thing. And he talks about his bar mitzvah, that there was because he was huge into disco, and he brought all his disco friends and everything like that, because they bought a disco ball, and his dad got a local radio station DJ, but it ends up being like the old jazz radio station. So they're just playing all this old jazz, and you have a bunch of disco people like leaving. So overall, I mean, again, if you like the man, if you like his voice and want to hear some hilarious stories, go check it out. Again, it's Failure is an Option, a memoirist by Jon Benjamin. So, and Josh got the show.
Yeah. Typically, I've been doing a lot of show reviews because when I need my downtime, I just watch shows. Sometimes it's vegging out on games. Other times it's just sitting and watching a show.
Mm-hmm.
But last week, I had my wisdom teeth removed. So that's why we didn't record last week. But
which we should have.
It would have been the day after, man. My jaw would have been in so much pain.
You just pain through it. I mean, literally, you would have gotten done with your. But the
thing is like the bottom. The bottom right suture on me is still like kind of still closing, so it's still open.
But I'm just talking about that you would need to talk, because you would still be coming off of the laughy gas or crazy gas. It would have been fun.
Well, they gave me like a really strong like pain medicine that it made me tired, but it didn't make me loopy.
Oh.
But anyway, so I had time to catch up. I had started watching this show a little bit, but then I stopped because I wanted to wait for the third season to come on Hulu.
Okay.
And the show is actually officially done in terms of like it's canceled.
Oh.
So the show is called Stand Against Evil. And the show was on IFC.
Okay. Okay.
And the premise of the show is the Stan. I think his last name is Miller, actually. So Stan Miller is
Good
a
name.
former sheriff, and he retires because his wife dies, and then the new sheriff comes in, and all these weird, like, supernatural things start to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And what they find out is that the town, there's a guy who placed a curse, a witch back in like the 1600 Puritan era, placed a curse on the town that any sheriff would die.
Oh.
And so the whole premise is them trying to figure out how to survive, how to defeat this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the show, it's very Evil Deadish.
Okay.
Um, like very much in that it's comedy horror. It's not like horror. Like when you look at the costumes for some of the demons and
Mhm.
witches and all that stuff, it's very low budget.
Okay.
But
So not like Evil Dead 1 and 2, but oh, what's the third one?
Army of Darkness,
Yeah, more like Army of Darkness.
in terms of comedy or just the effects.
The comedy.
Yeah, even that, like it's very, like, you would expect them to be more freaked out at certain things. Like, even though they know it's supernatural is happening to them, you would expect them to be more freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
But the main character, Stan, is just like, all right, like, whatever, let's just get this done and over with. I gotta kill a witch. Okay, cool. Yeah, like, he has no problem. Like, it's just like that. He
Okay.
just doesn't think about it. And he says some of the, like, I don't know if he improvised his lines, but the actor that played him, that's like said some of the funniest, like there's one line where he says, like, he's like, that thing smells like an armpit's butthole. Like, it's just something like when he said that, I just started laughing really hard because I was sitting there going, like, I would never say that or think to say that. And it's a very small cast. There's only like 4 or 5 actors in the show, but there's
Okay.
a lot more supporting characters. Um, it ended after 3 seasons. Each episode is like maybe 22 minutes long.
Okay.
The only negative I would say is I think the show should have been longer
Okay.
because there would have been a lot more comedy to do, and they could have done a lot more um, with the story itself.
Mm.
It just seemed like the episode just like began, like you start getting interested and really into it, and then the episode ends.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
and that's because of commercials, and I get why you only get a lot of 22 minutes, 21 minutes worth of time.
Yeah.
You do with what you can. But if you're into that Evil Dead type of stuff, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, because the Evil Dead the show, didn't that get canceled as well?
Yeah,
Ash
that only
versus the Evil Dead.
Yeah, that only lasted, I think, 4 seasons.
I want to say it was 3, but a lot of those zombie-esque shows are starting to go down because there's no draw for it anymore because everybody was gung-ho for it because of The Walking Dead. Now that the viewership is very low on The Walking Dead,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see a lot less zombie-esque movies and TV shows, even though like Zombieland 2 is going to be coming out.
Which that's been in the tanker for a while because they used to, like there was a long time they were planning a show on that one.
Yeah.
And then they were gonna, and then they decided to do a movie.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they were gonna. Yeah, there's that, but you'll still see, zombie-esque movies pop up, but not as much because there was a stint that it was just every other movie had zombies in it. Every other show had zombies in it. So
yeah, and this one doesn't really focus on zombies. It's more witchcraft.
yeah.
So they pull a lot more from broader things. Like there's one episode where um, the daughter of the main character, she ends up going through a mirror and ends up in like a teen vampire show.
No.
So they end up spoofing that. Um,
Is there a succubus episode?
yeah, there is.
Oh,
There is a succubus episode.
did
And
they
it's a
sing
baby.
their song? Did they sing her song backwards?
No, because the succubus is a baby.
Uh, okay.
That's the thing. Like the things that they do are so weird,
Yeah.
but some of the characters don't seem to just be like weirded by it. Like there's one the new sheriff like has a beat where she's always going like that's just okay, but the main character stands just like
Whatever.
whatever.
Let's kill it.
Yeah, if I gotta beat it, I gotta beat it.
Yeah.
And so I would recommend it if you're into the Evil Dead stuff,
Mm-hmm.
into that kind of horror comedy, and just it's weird. It kind of it doesn't take itself too seriously. It sometimes will break the fourth wall.
Okay.
You know,
Trying to
and
get
so,
some Deadpool money.
yeah, but it does it in its own way. It does it in a way like Evil Dead does it.
Okay.
So that's kind of my show recommendation. If I can get it done by next week, I will be reviewing the new Ultraman on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
I started watching that last night, and it's interesting.
Yeah. Oh man.
And the next thing, speaking of Ultraman, because it is on Netflix.
Yeah.
What the so
What the truck?
Yeah, what the truck. So I'm perusing. I turn on Netflix and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch something, or I'm gonna put. Actually, I was putting something on for my son, and I get this little notification bar that says, "By the way, May 2nd, we're gonna be raising your price to $12.99." Like, what? You just raised it to $11.99.
Yep.
I remember when I was dating my wife, it was $7.99.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was what, 7 years
Hulu
ago?
right now is $7.99.
Yeah,
and I get commercials, but originally $7.99 got you no commercials.
Yeah. Welcome to the stream game where pretty much it's combating. Netflix is basically seeing more and more. They're trying to milk the cow, try to get more and more money out of us because a lot of people are dropping their cable and satellite subscriptions and
Right.
they say, oh, Netflix is a cheaper option and everything like that. So let's just do Netflix. And they're like, well, we can slowly inch our way up to more money because not a lot of people are doing our Blu-ray and DVD subscriptions anymore. It's just basically streaming. So we can still make more money because we're still less than our competitors as in cable and satellite.
Yeah. But I think the problem though is that they're running into is they're trying to do like original content, which fine, or they're borrowing from properties like I said, Ultraman.
Mm-hmm.
They had the whole Marvel thing too,
which that's going to stop soon.
Yeah, which I get that you're trying to do your original material.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't understand why you would get rid of then your Marvel stuff because that was one of your cash cows.
Yeah.
But one of the things that has been frustrating over the last couple of years is that Netflix is getting rid of certain shows, certain things. Like, remember for a while, South Park was on there.
Yeah. Now they're on Hulu.
Yeah, they jumped ship and went to Hulu. And you just have this constant wheel of some things are on Hulu. So it's like, well, I want to watch this on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
I got to pay for that.
Yep.
And then I want to watch this on Netflix. Well, I got to pay for that.
Yep.
And Disney is coming out with their streaming service. Well, I got to pay for that.
Yep. And then Amazon,
Amazon Prime. I mean, that keeps going up. Like when I first got Amazon Prime, it was $100. Now it's like, okay, 120.
I think around there now.
And it doesn't include the unlimited music.
Yeah, well,
That's an extra service of $15 a month.
yeah, but they still have their music prime service. It's not all the songs, but there's still a decent amount on there that
There's
they
a
can.
decent amount, but they're kind of starting to take away.
Yeah, they are.
So, and then, I mean, you have that. There's, and then Disney's doing their whole streaming thing too soon. There was a while when my wife and I cut cable, we wanted to watch. We were trying to catch up and stay up to date with Walking Dead, so we tried to sign up on AMC.
Yeah.
And we thought, oh, you could just stream like maybe like CW does it, where you can stream like certain episodes for a certain period of time, and then they get rid of them.
Yeah.
On the website. So like whatever the newest like 4 or 5 episodes you can stream and at least stay in some up to dateness.
Yeah.
That's what we thought with Walking Dead. So we went to the AMC thing, and it's like, no, you got to pay for the subscription.
Yeah, because
CBS is doing the same thing.
Yep.
The Universe is doing the same thing with their streaming service, and personally for me, like I think it's going to get to a point where people are going to look at their like financial stuff.
Yeah.
And they're just going to see, I'm paying like 12 subscriptions to 12 different streaming services. Why?
Exactly. I mean,
wouldn't it be nice to just have everything in just like one location?
Yeah, but then you'll run into monopolization and all that stuff. So that's the balance that you need to start playing out. Like even when myself and my wife were even talking about this, was like, are we even really watching Netflix? I mean, there's a few things that I watch, but it's getting to be a point where it's all going to be original content. And I mean, there's a lot of Netflix stuff that is good, that's original content, but I mean, some of it's not in like my wheelhouse or things that I would watch normally. Like the main things that I watch on Netflix is the thing that I watched the most was there's Big Mouth, which is another animated show.
Is that exclusively Netflix? Or?
Yeah, that's they made it. There's that. That's about middle schoolers going through puberty changes. So there's that. There's a show that I watch called Samurai Gourmet, which
I've seen that.
Yeah, I like that one. But then they'll have a lot of the health documentaries and everything. They have
Generation Iron 1 and 2.
Yeah, Generation Iron 1, 2. They have the Pumping Iron. They have a recap of the CrossFit Games. Like,
I saw an article about some of those that said like those are the ones to check out. There's also one they did on a bodybuilder. I think it's Ronnie Coleman.
Oh yeah, Ronnie Coleman one, that's really good. There's that, and then they have the World's Strongest Men. Like they had a series, I think it's called Stone Lifters or something like that, where they look at three different countries that are known for stone lifting. So Ireland, Iceland, and I can't remember the last one. I think it's somewhere in South America. I can't remember. But like their culture is known for lifting stones. And I know in the Iceland one, they got like Hafthor Bjornsson and a couple other of the prominent strongmen to go around and lift these legendary stones, pretty much. Which I am adopting that idea. Because I have 2 daughters. So in order to date my daughter, you have to lift a certain stone.
Not just any stone, but a certain type of stone.
Yeah, and these stones are not just like, a pebble or like 10, 15 pounds. I'm talking about
Like a
at least,
giant stone.
yeah, like
Like
300
something.
plus pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't know. Like I think yeah, I mean there's some original stuff that Netflix does. Like my wife and I like Narcos.
Mhm.
Watched both that and the sister series Narcos Mexico. I mean, there's good shows and I get what they're trying. And some of the other services too, but it gets to a point where you're just like, I can't do that much, you know.
Yeah,
And
it's starting to outweigh, what do you want? And I mean, Hulu has such a big gambit because they have the shows. They have they don't just have just original content. They have pretty much the gambit of all the shows on multiple networks and shows that you want to see.
right, well, they have the major network ones,
Yeah.
ABC, NBC. They don't have CBS anymore because they're doing their own streaming. But
Yeah.
Fox, they have Fox.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of those main channels, they have all their stuff.
Now the big question is it with Disney taking over Fox, do you think Fox is going to leave Hulu and go to the Disney?
I hope not. I really hope not, because man, that. Well, and the thing is earlier we tried PlayStation View, like we did
Yeah.
a 5-day trial of it, just because we wanted to see if we liked it or not.
Mhm.
And we thought there was Nick Jr. on it, but then I had to like do some research and find out that the company that owns Nickelodeon, I think it's Viacom.
Viacom.
Yeah, they decided that they're gonna take away stuff and try and do their own thing.
I know, I think with Nick Jr. and like the kids stuff, like Disney Channel and everything, if you're going to do that route, I believe it's Sling TV that you're
Yeah,
able to.
we looked into that. I haven't looked really into that one.
Mhm.
The other thing too, when we looked on like Comcast, because we have Xfinity Internet,
Yeah.
like just to even get Nick Jr. because my son wants to watch Paw Patrol, just to even get that, it's like 5 levels up from the basic package, and I'm like,
Yeah.
freaking kidding me? Come on. So, I mean, that's yeah,
Understandable. Understandable. I mean, that's the same way with us too. So, and a lot of people that are listening.
yeah. And so I think at some point like they're gonna. Well, if you're gonna talk about monopoly, I mean, Disney is gobbling up all those
Yeah, they are.
companies. So at some point, like, are you gonna just say, "Hey, Disney,
Stop.
everything's gonna stream through Disney"? Because that's what Netflix was doing,
Yeah.
you know. So
Netflix.
that's my what the.
Yeah. Which, talking about streaming services, here's a free one. Our next topic is going to be technology, and I use this quite a bit, or if my family uses this quite a bit. It's the way to describe it is your personal streaming service. So the service is called Plex. And what you do is you can create using your DVD library or your Blu-ray library, because it is perfectly legal for you to burn at least one copy as a backup, and so that if the disc gets destroyed, you can redo another one and you can save it onto things. It's illegal when you get to the point where you're sharing this content or letting other people own this content as well. Which
Hmm.
this is where Plex comes in. Plex it's basically a media server. So you can burn your DVDs, you can burn your Blu-rays, you can burn, I have a huge collection. I mean, I have, you can't really see it right now, but I have 4 bookshelves filled with DVDs and Blu-rays. because I lived in the middle of nowhere for the longest time. That's where I grew up. And I mean, there was only, if I wanted to watch other things like, I don't know, like MTV shows when I was in high school, like the Wild Boys or, Jackass or
MTV
something like
Cribs.
that. Not really Cribs or anything like that, but you go out, we went out and bought the
Bought the
DVDs.
DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you wanted to watch, like I remember wanting to watch the whole X-Files series after it went off the air, and the
Mhm.
only way you could do that is buy the DVDs.
Yeah. So the nice thing about Plex is that if you burn your copies onto a flash drive, not flash drive, but external hard drive. Like I have a 4 terabyte for the movies and a 3 terabyte for the TV shows. And you plug them into your computer. You designate a computer to be your Plex computer. So basically, you sign in and you can put all these files. Basically, it acts as an access point. So you have Plex running, you have all your movies on these hard drives, and then you can go through different. If you're in the house, you can go either onto your computer, you can go on your phone, um, virtual reality headset. It's on PlayStation, it's on Xbox, it's on Roku, a bunch of other different. I know like Apple TVs, the most latest ones have it too, where you can
Hmm.
download the Plex app and you can access all of your movies and TV shows that you've put on those hard drives anywhere in the house. But then if you want to pay, I think it's like a one-time fee. I think it's like $5 per device. You can stream it anywhere.
Hmm. Is it available on like a PS4 app?
Yeah. Yep. That's where we watch it because when you were talking about Paw Patrol, we got a few Paw Patrol DVDs and we didn't want to get them all scratched up or anything like that. And we wanted to be able to play them from our PS4 instead of, carrying around the DVDs and potentially get them scratched up and everything and transporting them from one room to another room to another room.
Hmm.
Um, all we have to do is just sign into Plex and boom, there you go.
Hmm.
It's made. I mean, if you it takes a bit to build up your library because the process of burning your DVDs onto your computer, then transferring them over, and then going to Plex. And the cool thing about Plex is that it keeps up to date on different movies. So once you once you sign in and then have it scan your library files, it will look for the metadata, which is, the title, when it was made, synopsis, actors, everything,
Hmm.
reviews from Rotten Tomatoes. So it'll take all that information and then when you go onto the app and try to if you're searching for a show or anything like that, it'll tell you like who's in the movie, what's the synopsis, all that stuff.
Trying to think, was it Plex that did the Dead Rising movie?
No, they didn't do any movies, I don't think.
Who was the one that did?
Was it Voodoo?
Um,
No, no, no. I think you're talking about. Oh, I know what you're talking about. They're owned by Sony.
Crackle.
Crackle, that's it.
Crackle.
Yeah, because they did Dead Rising, and then they did a oh, what's it called? Hold on, I'm looking through movies. Snatch. They did a Snatch show of the
Yeah,
Guy
they did
Ritchie
this.
film, and they put
Yeah,
Ron Weasley in it.
yeah. I remember they when they announced that, I was like, that just seems kind of odd.
Yeah, and especially on
Like,
Crackle.
like you can't. it's hard to do like a TV series of a movie that was very popular at that time. Well, at least
Yeah.
like it had that impact where it's like that type of writing style. I mean, that was kind of the first time
Yeah.
I saw
And
Brad Pitt that jacked.
yeah,
Uh,
that and just how quick cut the scenes were and everything. I mean, Guy Ritchie has his own style. Like
mhm.
a lot of his movies are pretty much the same. It's from Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, and Snatch. Then what was the last one with
He did the last movie he did
Rock and
was
Rolla?
well, the
The-
last movie he did was the King Arthur movie,
That's right. That's right.
Scarlett Hunnam.
Yeah. But then like that was the that's the Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels like saga. They're very
Mhm.
much all the same. They don't really tie in with each other. Just the only thing that they have in common is that it's in England.
His, I would say, just as a quick recommendation, go watch The Man from Uncle, the movie that came out in
Oh
2015,
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
that's him.
Yeah, yeah.
He directed that one, and then actually I watched it with my wife. We both thought it was good.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, Plex. I'm trying to think, did I try Plex at one point? Was that the?
Yeah,
It was either that. Is that one? Is either that one or like it's like iPix or ePic or.
there's multiple services, but I think I just like Plex the best because of the whole option that you can stream from anywhere. Now, granted, in order to stream from anywhere, I mean the quality does go down. Like
Mhm.
if you do a Blu-ray, it's gonna come it when you start streaming it, it's not gonna come out as a Blu-ray if you're off site or if you're away from home. But in home, yeah, you still get all your, picture quality and everything is perfect
Mhm.
of how you've burned it and everything. So the only downfall is if because I know a lot of internet services are doing those stupid data caps. Luckily, I'm not one of them, but a lot of them are. So you have to watch out on
How much
how
you
you're
download?
what you're how much you're streaming, kind of a thing, and
Mm.
especially streaming offsite because that is still taking up some of your internet. So
Yeah, I a lot of I just don't get that. Like you just paid for your internet and that was it.
yeah, but it's that's just how it is nowadays. I mean, it's all about
How much can we squeeze out of the consumer?
exactly. I
I
mean,
miss the, I
I mean,
miss the days of AOL and instant message.
well, I mean, even AOL was trying to squeeze money out of you. You had to, in order to have an email account, you had to pay money for it.
Yeah,
So
but I miss the days of instant message and
yeah,
having like 10 windows open and you're talking like out of those 10, like 8 are girls.
yeah, eight are girls, and you're trying to hit on all of them and be so soulful and so which
Or,
which
or,
which,
or
which
it's like one's talking smack about the other and you're like trying to be the mediator
yeah,
between
exactly, exactly, exactly.
them.
Which there's a game that's on Steam. Oh, I forget what it's called, but it simulates that. It's a free download. Like the first game is a free download, but all it is a game is you're talking to a girl that you're interested in
Hmm.
and you have to choose like which one, but they get all the feels of back in the day. Like, you're trying to say something profound and then they misread it or they don't look into it correctly and it just messes it up and then you start losing the girl and everything like that. Oh, it's like it's junior high, elementary, junior high, and high school all over again. Oh my goodness.
What is the name of this thing?
Uh let me see if I can't look it up real quick. It's oh, what's it called? Hold on, let me grab my computer. It's
Do 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 do. The sound of silence.
It's called Emily is Away.
Emily is away.
Yeah. It's called Emily is Away. What's
it's
up?
an app, you said?
No, it's on Steam.
Oh, it's a Steam game. Okay.
Yeah. And literally all you do is talk to this girl and there's different scenarios. You're basically in college. And or you just graduated from high school and then you're going to college and they put you in different scenarios as in like graduate, like you just graduated, how was the summer, kind of a thing. Then she comes and visits you on campus and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of it's heart-wrenching because it's just the feels. It reminds me exactly of pretty much all the conversations I had with females that I was interested in on AOL Instant Messenger. So
fun days.
So
fun old days.
Yep. Speaking of fun old days, we're going to be going farther and we're going to be visiting our friend Arnold again because we found another clip of Arnold before Conan, before
pretty much everything.
Yeah, I would put this in between Conan and Pumping Iron.
This was after his Hercules in New York, before Pumping Iron.
Okay. So
I think Pumping Iron came out in 1977.
Okay, yeah. So he was a guest on a Lucille Ball show. It wasn't I Love Lucy. It was another show that when she was older that he comes in as a masseuse to rub down Lucille Ball and to get her now estranged husband jealous and everything like that. So without further ado, here comes Arnold and Lucy, where it came from the internet. 1974.
I am Rico.
Yeah, so 3 years. 3 years.
Oh, yes. Well, won't you? Oh, you are in.
Where we do it?
What?
Here or in the bedroom?
Oh, here.
I mean, it is kind of intimidating. He's 6'4", 6'5",
something like that.
I mean,
I set up table.
I mean, he's huge.
Yeah.
You need any help?
See. Take off
I mean, it
your
looks like he was. I think it looks like he was getting
All
like
of them?
before the take of
Put on
this.
Yeah.
How'd you know my size?
Excuse me?
Scusi?
I'll be right out. I'll be right out.
I find it funny that he's playing in Italian. And he's clearly Austrian. I wonder if he asked
Again, like my wife met somebody from Austria. The person doesn't know why Schwarzenegger talks like that.
Yeah.
Like that table alone to him has to be just like 5
I'm
pounds.
Rico.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? I have
Rico.
an appointment with Mrs. Mickles. Where is Mrs. Mickles? In the bedroom, taking off her clothes. Oh, she is. Donna!
See, this is when comedy was like comedy.
Well, what are you doing here?
I came to pick up the rest of my clothes. What are you doing here?
I live here, remember, and I'm about to have a massage.
You must be out of your mind letting a stranger in the house like this. What do you know about this guy?
Faye recommended him.
Oh, Faye.
Yeah.
All the more reason to be careful. He could be another Jack the Ripper.
Oh, come on.
Even though Jack the
You know,
Ripper
they
was
just
like
don't attack young women.
way earlier than this.
Yeah.
Way to be relevant.
The other day about this 80-year-old woman.
Malcolm, will you get your clothes and get out?
No, not before I find out a few things.
You want me on the table, Rico?
Rico.
I'm sorry about the interruption.
He must have asked Franco Colombo on how to get his accent and how to act.
Yeah. I mean, later on, he did like study from like a big theater director.
Yeah.
So he did try.
Yeah.
Hey, where you from, fella? Rome, Italy. What
you
doing? I was a truck driver.
Truck
You learn
driver.
how to give a massage. In Rome, every man knows how to give a massage.
That's a pretty jacked truck driver.
Yeah.
It's impossible to drive a truck without a license.
Usually they're like super overweight.
That's not what I mean.
Malcolm, if you're so worried, you can stay and watch.
No. I may be broad-minded, but I'm not kinky.
This was considered kinky.
My
Yeah.
stomach? Oh. Oh, thank you.
I wonder how much of this was ad-libbed.
I kind of feel she would be good enough to ad lib, but like they had to be conscious that they can't ad lib with him because he probably isn't like fully comfortable.
Yeah.
More.
You know.
Still more.
Well, certain things, but when she's talking to her estranged
Her
husband,
husband,
they ad lib
Yeah.
a lot.
This is your first massage?
Yeah, so please be gentle.
The neck and the shoulders are where the tension is.
Yeah. Oh, well, that feels better already.
Just.
Yeah, he's like not really massaging. He's
Yeah.
just kind of, he's just like tight, like tapping her.
Yeah.
Just one more thing.
That hat.
What's good for
Yeah.
the goose is good for the
That's
gander.
a hat.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'll tell you what it's supposed to mean. I'm moving in with Greg in his swinging singles building where it's fun and games day and night.
Well, you put a stop to that.
There's a co-ed sauna.
You'll be a big hit in your polka dot shorts.
Okay. Guess there's nothing else to say, Norma, except to wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
Norma, by the way, have you heard from our daughter, Linda?
Well, not many people call their mothers while they're on their honeymoon. You were the only one I know who did.
Burn.
Burn.
Oh, that feels good.
I just wish I had a picture of this that had cut my alimony in half.
You still had to pay alimony?
Or as they say in your new life, but dirty. Hey, too, brute. I'm leaving now, Norma. Just remember, one more thing. If I have two birds in my hand, it isn't in the bushes.
See, this has to be all ad-libbed right here.
No, don't get up. I can answer the door. I can answer the door. There's nobody ringing the door, but I can leave. I can open myself.
Yeah.
Norma, I'm leaving the keys here. Well, I always leave them.
And again, like Schwarzenegger's not even like really massaging her.
No.
I'm practically gone,
He's
Norma.
just kind of pushing up against her neck or her back.
I'm still here, Norma. Norma.
So that is.
I mean, it's just like you kind of look at him now and you just forget, you're like, man, he's old. You just forget like during the 70s and like, I'd say like pretty much I'd say like maybe 94.
Mhm.
Like that 24 years, that dude was so freaking jacked.
Yeah, I mean that's why that's why he was the culmination of like every guy's dream for their body kind of a thing. Like that's why he wrote so many books. That's why he would like even now today you talk to bodybuilders and talk to even strongmen. They're like, oh, when I was growing up, it's all about Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then when they get invited to the Arnold Classic, they're like, I can't wait to meet Arnold. I can't wait to meet Arnold and everything like that, because
Right.
he was the guy. I mean, there was others. I mean, Lou Ferrigno was there too, but Lou Ferrigno kind of, he wanted to be at that spotlight somewhat, but he just, because of his partial deafness and just how the way he talked and everything, he wasn't really too, he wasn't addressed with, certain situations like Arnold did. Now, Arnold did talk funny, but it kind of worked into his favor.
Right. And if you read one of the things that he talks a little bit about in his bodybuilding book is just height, and how height plays a factor to it. I mean, Lou Ferrigno, I think, is only like 5'8", 5'9".
No, I think he's taller than that.
Right. I don't think he's above 6 foot. Because the thing is that, like, Schwarzenegger talks about it, that, like, when it's harder for the short guys to look as intimidating because their height doesn't allow for the muscles to be elongated, like, long ways.
No, Lou Ferrigno's 6'5".
Oh, is he? Okay.
You're talking about Franco Columbo. Franco Columbo's like,
I was thinking of him.
5'6", 5'7".
Yeah.
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno, the original Incredible Hulk.
The one guy who won it that I think he either was 5'11" or he barely broke 6 foot was Frank Zane.
Yeah.
And actually Schwarzenegger I think he's been on record by saying Frank Zane was the one guy that he really envied the most, because he didn't look, there wasn't a muscle on his body that was bigger than the other muscle. Like aesthetically, he looked balanced.
Yeah.
Like Schwarzenegger, you think of his shoulders, you think of biceps, back, you think of those things. Like you look at pictures of Frank Zane and it's just like everything's just nicely even and smooth. Like there's not one muscle that's bigger than the other that you can say like, he probably works on his shoulders more.
Yeah.
It's like he a lot of bodybuilders of that time period envied him because he found a way to balance, that
everything correctly.
So he actually, when I was into bodybuilding, that he was actually the one. Him and Schwarzenegger were the two that I looked to.
Yeah. I mean, you have Arnold's encyclopedia. That, I mean, if you're going to be a bodybuilder, you want to start there with his encyclopedia and get everything down correctly and all that stuff. So, but that was it came from the internet. The next one is Stream and Chill, Stream and Chill.
We should probably get an intro for that.
Yeah, we should. But I have it. It's on Netflix. It's what got myself and Josh into watching horrible films is our beloved Mystery Science Theater 3000, or MST3K. If you want to not say the whole Mystery Science Theater part. It's all on Netflix. I mean, they are the original ones that watched through horrible things and made it funny. Where, throughout the whole movie, they make fun of it. They make, they ad-lib. Not really ad-lib, but
they'll insert their own dialogue into scenes. Just
exactly. Which you get to appreciate. Some of these movies that you would probably never watch ever in your life, but it's an episode and it becomes one of your beloved episodes. Like I would think of Manos in the Hands of Fate. That's a classic MST3K. Would I have ever seen that in my entire life? No. There's that. There's
Satan versus Santa Claus.
It was called The Santa Claus, but the premise of the movie, it's a Mexican film that basically Santa lives in outer space, is only allowed to come down to Earth one day a year to give children presents and to stop Satan. So there was that. Then there's Santa conquers the aliens or Martians. Sorry.
There's that one. There's what was there was another one that I remember that was pretty popular too.
There was that one. There was there's tons and tons and tons of these episodes, and it was about 2 years ago they reintroduced MST3K on Netflix.
The one I'm thinking of is the one from the 80s that has the lady from Wayne's World. That was like before her career got started.
Oh, it was
84 or 85. I can't think of it. But like every time she'd be on screen, they're like, "There's Tia Carrere. There's Tia Carrere. There's Tia Carrere."
Hold on. I think it was like a night of something.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jeff's butt.
I can't find it. It's in there. It's basically this kid dies, and then it doesn't just have Tia Carrere in it. It has Batman in it.
Oh, Adam West.
Yeah, it has Adam West in it too. So it's a good one, and I mean they just reintroduced it, and they're doing. A lot of people don't like the old MST3K. Like my wife can't stand it because she doesn't get the humor because she doesn't know a lot about history and during the timepieces and everything. So a lot of the jokes, some of the jokes go over her head.
And they're very time specific.
Yeah. And with the new one, they're bringing some newer movies that have done terrible, like the Pacific Rim knockoff. I think it was like Atlantic Rim or something like that. Completely rip off of Pacific Rim, and it's terrible. But you get more relevant. You get more relevant comedy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So that is our recommendation. Go watch it. Go because Netflix has some of the more prominent or the more classics episodes of the original Mystery Science Theater, and then they have the whole new season. Actually, there's 2 seasons. Doesn't have the same guys, but the original creator of Mystery Science Theater, Joel Hodgson, he helps run the show and write material and everything like that. So go check that out. Next is our Stream and Why. And I got this one too. So I would say, I think it was like 2009 or 2010. We'll see the actual time date or anything like that. Fox decided to work with I think it was like 5 years later with the Napoleon Dynamite crew and to develop an animated cartoon, an adult animated cartoon, kind of like Bob's Burgers, Simpsons, and everything like that.
Was it 2009, 2010? I think it was maybe a couple years later than that.
Yeah, I would say.
Because when I saw it, I remember when it came out, I was like, this seems kind of too late.
Yeah, it was.
Putting it out.
Yeah, it was. I think they had some issues of trying to get all the people to do it and everything like that, because the guy that plays Napoleon, he got some success after that. I mean, he had a huge success, and then he felt very much like, I need to go and pursue other acting careers and stuff like that. But then everybody realized he plays the same person. He plays Napoleon Dynamite in all the movies. So they stopped casting him, and he's like, okay, I'll do it now. But they decided to do an animated series with all the original cast. And you would think, animated show, it should be good if it's the same premise and everything, where it's just, you know, the day in the life of Napoleon and all that stuff. But the issue is that they put him in crazy situations like The Simpsons, where like the first episode, Napoleon gets acne on his face, and he uses a ointment that burns, but it gives him like unbridled rage, which makes him super strong and everything. And then it goes from there, and there's a secret society that it like called the Pioneer Punch Club, and it's all about fighting. And then they have this huge like coliseum where these people would fight against each other and stuff like that. So ridiculous stuff happening to Napoleon Dynamite, where like you want to remember from the original, where it was just plain and simple, and it was just about the day in the lives of these characters, and now they're, you know, blowing up and all this other stuff. So let's check out two of these trailers that I dug this up just to give you a point of view of what I'm talking about.
The time has come.
What's it been, like 30 freaking years?
I mean, they
they
did get the art down correctly.
And fits of unbridled rage.
Long live Napoleon Dynamite.
He's always trying to ruin my life because he's jealous of my sweet body.
And guess who else is back?
Oh, how the heck should I know?
The entire original cast.
Sweet.
And see, from this commercial, it's very much like the show, or not the show, but like the movie, where it's just the day of their lives. So that's why I think, like, I got excited for it.
Bow to your sensei! Bow to your sensei!
Come on, Pedro. Let's rock this mother. Don't you know, things will change. Things will go your way. If you hold on for one more day.
Napoleon Dynamite, coming soon to Fox.
See, that one, this commercial makes it look like it's good.
Yeah, it's the original.
Yeah. Hold on. What the heck? The other one didn't pop up. Give me a second.
The time
No,
has come.
that's the one we watched. This is it.
Found like a scientist.
This is where it gets crazy.
It said if you burp, sneeze, fart, and yawn at the same time, you explode. 3, 2, and 1. Get out of the way!
See,
Sorry it didn't explode, guys. I totally forgot to yawn.
Napoleon Dynamite is coming to Fox.
Oh, my junk.
And he's bringing along his entire original crew.
Sweet.
Pedro.
Thanks for taking me to Mexico.
That was my house. Yeah.
Are you sure about this?
Okay, that was actually kind of funny.
You look like an Acapulco cliff diver. Rex.
Dynamite, engage!
Grandma.
You boys get out of the pool. Gonna do some stretches you might not want to see.
And Deb.
Do you think everyone in the restaurant thought we were married?
If they did, it was the worst freaking honeymoon I've ever been on.
Napoleon Dynamite. The 2-episode premiere Sunday, January 15th.
Let's do this. Quit breathing on me.
Ow.
Ow.
On Fox.
I finally realized, like, I'm going to have two sons that are going to be doing that.
yeah.
Like, they're going to be fighting and being like, stop breathing on me. Stop growing.
See, I mean, overall, if you don't go into thinking that, okay, this is Napoleon Dynamite, if you never watched the movie and then you watch these shows, I mean, it's like any other animated show that's out there, except for like Bob's Burgers and stuff like that, or more like, you know, Family Guy or The Simpsons. They put you in like weird, you know, abnormal situations, everything. It's okay. But if you're a fan of Napoleon Dynamite, the original movie, it just starts being weird. and you're just like, these characters are not supposed to be doing this kind of a thing. So that's why it's kind of the stream, and why is because it just doesn't fit. But is it entertaining? Do you get some laughs out of it? Yes. But would I say, if you're, a diehard Napoleon Dynamite fan, do you want to watch it? Probably not. But
yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's that movie in and of itself. I'll be the first one to say, when I first watched it, I was like, this is kind of dumb. And the second time I watched it, I was like, because the thing is that movie itself, if you watch it when you're alone, you just don't find it entertaining.
Yeah.
But then when you actually watch it with people, for some reason, then it just kind of clicks. And that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
I watched it by myself and I was just like, this is stupid. I don't see humor in this. And then when I watched it with friends, for some odd reason, I was like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah. Because
it's funny to watch. And it's one of those shows, or movies. There's movies that come out that are good, but I think they're lightning in a bottle good.
Yeah.
They come once, you don't want to do a sequel. Like, I would say another example of that would be Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good movie, but it's not one of those that I think if you did a sequel, you'd have the same lightning in a bottle twice.
Exactly.
It just worked for the time period that it was, the year that it came out in, kind of that little 09 time phase.
It was around 06. 05, 06.
Scott Pilgrim or Napoleon?
Oh, no. Scott Pilgrim was
09.
2010.
2010, and then Napoleon Dynamite was like 04, 05.
Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite was 05, 06.
Yeah, and so it's one of those where I think it's 04, 05, because I was in high school when it came out.
Okay.
I remember I was still in high school and I was watching it at home.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the DVD release was in 05. So yeah, 04, 05.
But I think it's one of those, and you see those movies where it's just like that. You just get one lightning, you get one and done. And people want to see a sequel. They want to see more. They want to see more of what those characters are up to. But it's like, I don't know how you're going to capture that same magic.
Yeah, exactly. And especially with nowadays, it's like they're waiting so long. Like, again, like Zombieland 2. It's been like 10 years since the first one. So it's like they're trying to play the whole nostalgia thing, but sometimes it's just too late. So
yeah, and if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're really gonna take that plunge, like, what was it? I think the Matrix trilogy, like, it was so popular, that first one, and I think in like 02 was the next one. So there's a 3-year span, but then they said the third and final one's coming out the following year.
Yeah.
So it's like they were like, all right, we're going to capitalize on this as best as we can.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So,
but go check that out. But we have reached the end of our time. So long, farewell, Avidas, and goodbye.
This is the end of time. Somebody's got to write a song about that.
Yeah.
Not Final Countdown, end of time, but end of time.
Yeah. Well, for So Do You Like Stuff, I'm Jeff Miller.
I'm Josh Martinez.
Y'all be awesome.
Peace.